hope everyone is well. It is 11:11 on 111. I'm sorry, 111 on 111. Definitely have a interesting conversation that I want to have with you all today. Greetings. Thank you all for being here. I'm going to wait for my co-host. And there is Seven. I'm going to get Seven up in here. I got some questions for you, Seven. I need some help. I'm going through something. I'm growing through something. Oh, Eve is in here too. Hopefully you can hop on, sis, because I really need some advice myself. I'm hopping on here today. I think that I've already decided that once we go off of this live, this one ain't getting posted. Because what Spirit is on me about today is actually very personal. And I was telling my friend that I'm actually a little apprehensive to talk about it, but it's somewhere in the Bible that says if you confess your faults, that's how you get deliverance from the things that you're struggling with. So I'm about to get naked, turn the lights on real bright and get naked. I need my people to get with me though. Give me just a second. Let me see if I can figure out. Okay, I sent you guys invitations for you to. Woo! Brother! Okay, this is perfect. For those of you who don't know, this is Eve, the empath, the wonderful, the mighty, the clairvoyant, anything that you want to know as far as messages from Spirit are concerned. She gets them so clearly. She gave me this beautiful reading a few weeks ago. I guess it's been over a month now, since I got that reading, and just brought so much clarity to my experience. I was trying to make a decision about something, and she really helped me to understand what would be the best route for me to go. I think sometimes when you go get a reading, people can be like super pushy with their opinions. In my experience, like I've had some bad experiences with reading, so I'm super cautious about who I go to. And Eve just gave me a really good experience, so I had to shout that out first. And I definitely feel comfortable asking her for advice. How are you, Seven?
I'm good.
That's good. All right. Okay. So here it is. I'm gonna just lay it out. All right. Okay. So I got this friend. We have like a super dope connection, like on every level. Everything is super duper great. But as far as like sexual compatibility and sex drive is concerned, we are super on two different pages, right? And so it's actually making me look at myself and like acknowledge the fact that I might be hypersexual. You know what I'm saying? Like I want to fuck all the time, and sometimes I like to use sex to like fill voids and not deal with things or as a distraction. And just like it's really been making me notice like some unhealthy patterns that I can address within myself, right? And so I was just hoping that y'all could give me like some insight, some help into who's that look? Into like some things that I can do in order to balance this thing that I have going within myself, so I don't fuck up this good thing that I have going, because it's not as how I would expect to be in a relationship. I think in my previous relationship, they've kind of, the nucleus of the relationship has been set. So to have this shift, like I'm super grateful for it, right? Because I had this new opportunity. This means that I'm in a new pattern and I have an opportunity to create a new thing in my life, and I'm super excited about it. But I'm also sexually frustrated. So I just want to know what you guys' thoughts are on this. If you've ever experienced this, if you've ever been in this type of situation, and what kind of advice you would give to myself or someone who is in the situation that I'm in. Don't all speak at once now.
I was about to say, ladies first, please.
Absolutely. I'm happy to go first. So, do I have experience in this? Yes, I do, because I am a hypersexual individual myself. But I will say in the last 3 years, I allowed myself to connect on a level of spirituality when it comes to sex. And so I did a poll on my platform probably about 2 months ago, nurture versus nature. And surprisingly, a lot of people thought they wanted sex when what they really wanted was the intimacy. So the nurture aspect being more intimate versus the nature, which is the physical part. And how do you bring that together? Because some people associate nature or sex with love and nurture as just friendship. And if you take that down to the most basic level, everything builds upon a foundation, right? One step, one step, one step, precept upon precept. And so if the basis of all relationships is a solid foundation of friendship, then it makes sense that nurture would be the step first. And if you take it all the way back to childhood in terms of what we needed from our parents, if our parents worked a whole lot, we got the nature because they provided for us. We got all of our needs met, clothing, physical things, all of the root issues for the most part. But then when we move up to that sensuality, to that sacral energy, the nurture may have been missing because maybe they didn't have time, maybe they weren't taught, maybe they weren't affectionate. So as we grow older, we create the same situations when we get older from childhood. You're still seeking that nurture. So in your instance, if you particularly associate sex and love together, then it would make sense because that's a formal way of introducing it into yourself. But what I'm feeling, what I sense intuitively is that spirit is saying to you, slow down. If it's worth the relationship, why not take the time to build precept upon precept? Take the time to grow and learn each other on a level that is so strong that when you truly introduce your level of sexuality to this individual's level of intimacy, you create something very powerful. Just my thoughts.
Do you? While I agree with everything she said, first off, how do you feel about you guys' alignment in this area? Does it feel off, or do you feel like what she said hit home?
Yeah, it's me. It's me. It's the healthy patterns that I've had in the past. It's my desire to use sex as like a coping mechanism and as a way to like validate the relationship. And it's me. And Spirit has been dealing with me a lot on, okay, do you want a connection that's based around ego, that feeds your ego and is good for your ego? Or do you want this soul connection that you've been begging me for? You know what I'm saying? Because it can't be both, because those are not ever going to be, those are two separate realms of existence.
Yeah.
And so it's me.
Okay. How deep are you into the connection?
Is as deep as I know how to be without fucking all the time.
Okay. Okay. I would say, yeah, just take your time. You're going through a severe process right now, which has to be taken step by step. You can't really skip much, and it's a pattern that you're breaking. So with breaking that pattern comes, the small nuances of such, like being a little uncomfortable, being a bit anxious with wanting to return back to, what you were originally in the pattern of and comfortable with. So, I think what you're going through is very normal. We all go through this with changes, with deep internal changes, especially in regards to how we express our emotions and our affection, because a lot of times our pain is deeply rooted in our affection, in how we show that, because oftentimes our affection is simply examples of how we would like to be shown affection. So, man, I think you're doing just fine. I feel like even from the standpoint of you being open to seeking counsel in this area of your heart, it just says a lot about where you are in the process. I think you're doing great. You don't seem to be on your way to failure at all. You seem like you getting over some of these last humps for you to really be able to fully invest your mind and spirit into cultivating the connection that you desire. So I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you. I think this is really, really cool. And this is coming from somebody who I'm extremely sexual. I'm pretty sure I'm hypersexual as fuck, so I completely understand. And I also very much so resonate with the intention to change, to seek this version of yourself that is pulling at your spirit, so yeah, I think you're doing great. For real, for real. Don't attack them. Just chill for a second. Just chill, man. I feel like when you do accomplish this goal and you get all the way over this hurdle, I'm very much so looking forward to the follow-up conversation of how rewarding the experiences are after truly being able to develop that understanding and that cohesiveness in that part of you guys' connection. I'm excited for you. Look at you.
Well, I appreciate that. I mean, I know I'm maybe putting on a good face right now, but it's something like, well, maybe we just supposed to be friends because, I'm just trying to get myself out of that.
Shit.
And then I have had some really dope people come into my life and help me to understand, different ways that I can channel my sexual energy. And, like meditations and different things that I can do and just healthier ways to channel that energy. And so I've been leaning on those methods. And I know probably both of you have gone through times of either, I guess, would you call it abstinence? It would be abstinence of sex with a partner. And so
hold on, say that one more time. We've gone through what again?
Periods of abstinence where you haven't
hell yeah.
with a partner. And this person just put in a comment, they say, is it sex itself or are you really just drawn to that person sexually? I'm gonna say both. It's sex itself because like I said, I'm just a super sexual person anyways. Like I could be over here by myself and we still gonna be sex today, And so so there's that. And then, I am, highly sexually attracted to this person. So, it's both. But just, in those times when you aren't having sex with a partner, how do each of you kind of channel your sexual energy? What are some methods you have used to healthy methods of managing that energy when sex with a partner is not at the top of the list?
Go ahead, Missy. She's so polite.
Okay, so I was engaged in a relationship with an individual who was hypersexual, but they wanted to hide it from me. This was probably a good 5-year relationship. And while it ended, there were still components within the relationship that taught me a lot. I'm not used to nobody telling me no. That don't happen. I'm not used to a man telling me, hey, you know what? I want to take it slow. I want to do this and I want to do that. While on the other side of that, expressing this inner sexual demon, if you will, to or with other people, exploring things outside of me. I'm used to, if we're in this moment and we're together, it's every day, all day, maybe 2-3 times a day. So I had to really adjust my thinking. But some of the experiences that I had, even in that relationship that wasn't its healthiest, was Tantra. I learned the art of Tantra, maybe not all of the positions, but just having that connection, being able to go heart to heart and staring into each other's eyes and feeling that closeness and that oneness. Sometimes the eroticism that came inside of my own mind from this individual's touch was so powerful that when our connection broke, I could tell. And that's because I could feel his body tingle, the hairs on his body stand up. And when they changed, I was like, something's off. So when you explore, I'm trying to tell you, yes, something was, it was. Your body speaks to you. on all levels. And when you tune in, it ain't lying. And I'm gonna just say that. So in that period, I had to learn how to adjust. And I didn't just get mere satisfaction from my toys because I enjoy the warmth and the physical touch and all of the imagination that comes with it. But this year, 2022, I should say, Spirit gave me a vision of the power of the womb. And what I experienced was these feelings in my sacral region that felt as if I was engaged, but I'm by myself. And it was pure creative energy. And when I tell you pure, I was miscreating and creating positive experiences within my life. And I'm like, wow. And I remembered the feeling when I was in that relationship that wasn't its healthiest. It taught lessons, but it was like the precursor to this space that I'm in right now. So I think it's a great opportunity to truly tune in to all of who you are and explore the power of your creativity and manifestations, because Yoni is amazing. I mean, y'all don't have no Yoni, but you know. Same region. You got it.
I would I think you'll be really, really surprised of what comes from that beautiful singing voice you have, channeling all of these different energies up into different areas of your being. You've graced me with the knowledge to know that singing and expressing yourself musically is a big thing for you. And I'm very interested to see how, you utilize this experience to pull from there. I mean, I do a variety of things. Working out is definitely a thing. And I was just kind of having this conversation the other day. I'm like, I don't work out because I have some goal, like, yeah, health is a part of it, but it's mainly about my energy and getting in tune with it and how to express it and experience it in ways that benefit me holistically. And when I say holistically, I just mean wholly, as myself, in every area of me, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and physically. So I would say, shoot, you've been doing some walking around the block. Turn that up a little bit. See how you can experiment and fuck around with that. I would write and sing more. I would dive into things that I enjoy, especially harder when I'm feeling these urges. When I feel the urge to, I've been spending a lot of time alone. So when I feel the urge to want a woman's touch or company, it's made it a lot easier for me. Well, I wouldn't say, yeah, it has. It's made it a lot easier for me, but the experience is so much more pivotal for me. I rap, right? But singing is not foreign to me. And I find that the types of music that I make when I'm yearning or I have those sexual urges or desires, and I am practicing, fulfilling those desires in a different way for my spirit. My creativity really serves as an avenue to do such, like for sure. It's a really nice way for me, and I just think that I've experienced you speak on and express creativity in different ways. So just have fun with it, And I think that when you do begin to have fun with it, your consciousness will begin to perceive your relationship with this energy differently, right? Like you'll begin to reshape your perspective as far as it's concerned. Yeah.
I like that.
Right, that's super dope. I mean, I definitely like the things that you said about like, well, I hadn't like turned the workout up. I guess I could do that, but like creativity, trying to turn into my creativity.
Hey, mind you though, that workout shit can backfire on you because the more you get into it, the hornier you get. So
I'm just... That's what I was about to say. I think walking, getting that blood flowing. No, I wanted to address some of the comments that I saw came in, and I saw a request come in. I don't know who this person is. I think I'm gonna bring them up, and we'll see if they're a scammer. We're gonna see. But Mia, I just want to say, hey sister, and that's Demiki, and to Alvin, I saw you mention breathwork. That's a beautiful idea, and he also co-signed what you said about tantra. My ex said that it's sex demons out here. I don't know if that's personal. And then okay, I just wanted to make sure that I addressed everybody. Somebody said, "Is he broke?" And I think what I've been doing in this is making this about me. Because I don't think it's anything that has to do with him or that's wrong with him or his sex drive or his financial status or whatever you're alluding to with that. It's something that's within me that I'm given the opportunity to address. And so I'm just trying to take it from a very personal standpoint because really anything that I'm experiencing is a reflection of what's within me. So if I want to see a change in something, I address what's within me. I'm not pointing the finger at the other person.
Yeah.
Let me see. Oh, perfect. All right, Alvin's gonna hop in. I definitely want to give him an opportunity to speak and give like some insight from his perspective as well. Hey,
Alvin. Man, we can't hear you. Can y'all hear him?
Can y'all hear me?
I don't think you can.
Oh, yeah. Now we can.
Yeah, I had to turn the mic off. Y'all gotta excuse me. I was sitting around with no clothes on.
No, you good. We appreciate your presence. How are you?
Blessed and well. Still recovering, but well.
Right.
How's everybody doing? Happy New Year.
Good. Happy New Year. I know you've kind of been here pretty much since the beginning of when we started talking, but just to give you a little background, like I'm entertaining the connection and I'm just trying to make sure that I'm not becoming a detriment to myself because I'm allowing my desire for egotistical things to outweigh what my soul truly needs and desires, and just trying to figure out ways to make sure that I am straight and satisfied sexually because I deserve that, but at the same time not putting too much pressure on someone else to fulfill my needs and desires and things of that nature. You know what I'm saying? Just trying to figure out how I can go within myself to resolve this issue as opposed to making it about someone else. So you're full of insight and wisdom, and so I just wanted to give you an opportunity to come up and give you some advice.
Okay. Well, one, I would ask, is it ego or is it desire? And you and I have talked, so the first thing I would ever ask first is, what is it that you want? Understanding that your desires and your wants, if they're focused on from a healthy perspective, is your compass in the direction in which you go, attaching the purpose in life, whatever you choose that to be. So I would ask, is it something you desire, or is it really truly your ego? And have you taken the time to decipher between the two? Because if it's your ego, it's trying to hold you in a telltale sign is if it's trying to keep you in a place. And so if you're in momentum and you're moving forward, then it might not necessarily be your ego. Sometimes we have to pick seasons where, and I was actually reading something earlier that this is actually, 2023 being a year of 7 where you might want to look into being more selfish with yourself so that you can give attention to the things that you need to do in order to get to wherever it is you're wanting to go, manifest the things in your life that you want to manifest. So I would first say start there, just being clear on what it is you want, making sure it's a healthy perspective, and seeing if you're holding yourself in some type of space, excluding other people to take part in.
Okay. I associated it with my ego because of the fact that I have in my past used sex to validate myself, to validate my relationship, to affirm that I'm attractive or that someone is really interested in me. And I'm prone to believe that, oh, well, if this person isn't on me 24/7, then they don't like me. You know what I'm saying? And so I just felt like that was a very egotistical way of approaching it. And that's kind of what was coming up.
The question is why? Why did you need that to validate yourself? That doesn't resonate as ego. Because more than likely it's tying back to some type of trauma in your life that spearheaded all of this as to, how you identify and create value within yourself. And so I would ask you, have you been going on your healing journey, allowing all that stuff to surface? I know you know how. And so have you gone on that journey? And just start letting that stuff surface, because it comes up. If you give it space, it will come up. You talked about meditating earlier. If you're entering a healthy relationship and you're sharing space with a partner, Tantra is a beautiful way to make a lot of that stuff come to the surface as well. And then just spending time in it and doing your proper grieving process in order to just work through that. But it does not sound like ego.
Okay.
And again, social. So I see you out and about, and so you're not stagnant in any way. So I don't think it's ego. I would give a moment to that to just try and regulate it, just to understand exactly what it is. I'm pretty sure we all have ego that comes to the surface. I remember telling you I cried the day that I was introduced to my ego because I felt so helpless, and out of control. So I sit with that for a while. You might just be misidentifying your reasons.
Okay.
I was recently doing readings, and the whole past last week and the week before, the Hierophant in reverse kept coming up. And for those who are not into the readings, astrology, and things like that, Hierophant is that expansion of higher self. But it kept coming in reverse when it was for fire signs. With that being said, when you look at how it grows, it starts at the base being the widest, right? With all of the options and opportunities in front of you, which is the ability to hone in on everyone else's knowledge and skills. But the higher you go, you get to meet that higher version of self. But when it's in reverse, it's when you're not paying attention to higher versions of self. It's when you are, sometimes ego does get in the way, but a lot of times it's ignoring or allowing old self to rule. And sometimes I feel kind of odd saying old self versus new self, but evolution is constant. And I haven't always believed in the process of evolution. I used to be in a stuck type energy, but as we start to uncover all of these aspects of self, when we get in a place of being met with what we used to do versus where we want to go, it takes us right back to the space of ego. What's holding you there? And then looking at it, if we're mirror images of each other, what's making you believe inside of you that this person doesn't desire you the same, but is exercising restraint because perhaps in this time space energy, they don't want to mess it up. They don't want to move too quickly. They don't want to give more of themselves in a physical way and miss all of the beauty that could be found in this experience. But we look at self and say, it's me, or it's my over desire and they don't want me like that. No, you choose the reality that you want to have. And he's right. 7, inner being, inner awareness, inner consciousness. That's where you are in this time space energy. So, great question. Like it.
okay to be selfish with yourself sometimes.
I feel that. Thank y'all so much. I'm really over here trying to hold back these tears. Not that I need to, but we've been over here for about 30 minutes. Did anybody have any final thoughts or anything that they wanted to say before we hop off? I am grateful for each and every one of you. This is exactly what I needed to hear today. I know when I first got on here, I said that I was going to take it down and I wasn't going to post it, but I am going to post it. I feel like it's important for me personally that I am transparent and that I'm not holding shame. I feel like that's been a big pattern of mine of holding a lot of shame. Oh, and shout out to Jade. I've been reading your comments as well. I didn't mean to skip over your comments. I appreciate what you contributed, but holding on to shame. But I never know who else can benefit from the wisdom that was dropped on today, because each of you are a wealth of wisdom. And I really appreciate what you added to the conversation. So I will keep it posted. But did anyone have any final words before we wrap up?
I'm very thankful. Very thankful, man. All of you guys' perspectives were very useful and insightful and full of healing intention. And I'm thankful to have been in the room, so to speak. For real. That's all I got.
Thank you as well. Gratitude for allowing me space in your space. I'm so grateful.
Well, I enjoy always sharing in your life. It's electric. It's radio. I can't wait to see you perform. I know that's going to be amazing. And again, just let go. You don't have to do it publicly on socials, but let go, let it all out. It's going to help you shed so much of the things that you've been carrying forward and holding on to for so long. So however it wants to come out, just let it come out. I'm not a big crier, and so whenever I hit an emotional space, I try to get somewhere where I can just let it become whatever it's going to become, because there's a gift inside of that shedding, and you're just taking it, and it's just taking part in the evolution that you're currently going through. The sex thing. Use that as an opportunity to let that energy out as well. Breath work is amazing. And just channeling all of that energy that is vibrating through. Because again, a lot of times, because they're connected to other things, or we connect them to other things, we mislabel, especially when it comes to energies that's vibrating through our being, what it is, what it's for, what its purpose is, and anything like that. And so just sit in oneness with yourself and just breathe and just let go and give opportunity and credence to the spirits that just want to vibrate and just come to the surface and communicate with you on every level. So that might help you in that area amazingly, explosively.
Okay. All right. I was looking through the comments, and it was one thing that I did want to address that someone said. I'm trying to find it. My thing don't want to let me scroll through here like I want to, though. Bear with me. It says, usually men are low on sex drive when they're broke. You aren't wrong for wanting more sex at all. I don't know if either one of y'all have ever been in a financial bind and impacted your sex drive as men, but I was just wondering if either of you could speak to that.
You make me do it? I mean, I will. I have no problem with it. I don't mind sharing. I will.
I agree and disagree.
I want to hear what both of you guys say. Go ahead.
I've experienced both sides of that. I've experienced being broke and not necessarily being, I don't know, in the place that I guess in another place. I don't really know how to define it, but I've been broke as fuck with a high sex drive. You know what I'm saying? Or had hella money and had a high sex drive. Or I've been broke with a low sex drive and had a bunch of money with a low sex drive. So I mean, although I do think that a man's financial status has a heavy and high potential to affect how he expresses intimacy and emotional vulnerability and his sexuality. I think it can definitely have a large effect for sure. But it don't sound like that's the case here. But yeah, I agree. I mean, it can affect men, but I don't think it's a end all be all concept. You know, I think it's very much so individual. So yeah. What was you about to say, Mr. Alfred?
I've experienced high and low sex drives on both ends of the spectrum. Broke. I'm looking at the word broke, and I think of all the means where when you discuss wanting to have some good penis in your life, you
gotta get a broke nigga.
because his service skills are going to be at the most upper of echelons. But if a person is happy in the place that they're in, not defining themselves monetarily, that person is going to share the magic that's in them with another person. So it doesn't necessarily mean that they're broke. That them being broke is the issue. Especially, and I remember myself even advising some female friends who came to me at certain points in time that, you know, find you a good sanitation worker who happy with his job and not looking to go anywhere else in life but where he is at, and he will destroy you and bring nothing but physical pleasure to you in that moment, so that you can share in that free form living space that person is in. But it's not about the fact that there's no limitations on him being broke sexual, unless, and again, I've been in this space where I've made a lot of money, and getting to a space where you make a lot of money in your life, and the demands that are placed on you at that point to keep performing and not only sustaining but growing from that place to even higher levels that you can never even imagine in your life. Yeah. The stress that comes along with it will start tearing you apart. Man. And the last thing on your mind is pleasing another person.
Man, for real.
And if you ever heard my story, I tell people a lot of times I gave everything away. When I reached that point, I got everybody away from me and I gave everything away, and found myself a comfortable station where I was happy again. And again, even in that point when you're happy and you're content and you have something to give, something of quality to give, even if it's just physical pleasure, healing happens when people connect, and it'll turn it around. So the only way that either of you or the person that you're deciding to have sex with will have a problem is if you have an issue with them being broke and will not allow yourself to rise to pleasure. But that's on you. That's not his fault.
Okay. All right. And I know I said I was going to let y'all go, but I got one more question. One more question for the three of you. So I talked about the fact that, in my opinion, from my perspective, I am hypersexual because I'm hypersexual. I'm going to just leave it at that. So, and I don't even know how to word this because I don't like the word normal, right? But maybe let's talk about healthy. How do you determine, like, what amount of sex is healthy versus unhealthy? And, like, I heard people with once a week, 3 times a week, 7 times every day. Like, I know it depends on, like, you and your partner, but I mean, what's a good gauge in what a healthy just stick to the word healthy amount of sex is? How do you gauge that for yourself personally?
Miss Eve.
Y'all take that one.
Oh God. I don't really know, man. For me, I'm a very intuitive and emotional man. So my spiritual compass is my foundation of what I depend on in a lot of areas of my life. I would say, I don't know, because I feel like sex is a very not only deep, but I wish I could find the perfect word. But it's an experience that whether you would like to or not, it makes you dig. Whether you want to or not, sex will put you in a position within yourself to dig. And what you do with what you find is all up to you, right? But I think that when one is active sexually, there is a form of internal communication that begins, and I think you just got to listen to that, because you know when you're doing it too much, you know when you need to chill out, and of course you know when you want some, so I think just staying in tune with oneself, minding your rhythm, that's been something I've been speaking more often, and also beginning to intentionally and consciously maintain within myself. Human beings are very much so creatures of rhythm and habit and pattern. And I think when you can find your rhythm and stay in it, your ears will just be a lot more open, to what you need and what you can do to satisfy those things. And I think that might be the best way I can put it from my perspective, because me personally, let's just say I have a partner, right? And life is going however it's going, and we're having sex consistently. If I see myself begin to feel like I need sex like a drug, like I need a hit real quick before I go do this, or hey, I need it. I don't feel right because I didn't have sex this morning. All right, I think that perspective, if you witness yourself experiencing that, now that's really a time to take a step back and be like, all right, now where am I having sex from? What am I giving and receiving during this exchange that's causing me to depend on it in this way? Right. And then I think the same applies if it's opposite. If you find yourself being consumed in other areas of life, so much so. And these are both scenarios I'll say if you have a partner, right? Like if you find yourself being consumed with other areas of life, or maybe not consumed, maybe just more concerned with other areas of life, and then you begin to notice the portion of you that does benefit from sex, right? And that does enjoy it, because I think everybody experiences it or benefits from it in an individual way. If you begin to notice that, hey, there are parts of me that are lacking. Maybe I'm less affectionate or less attentive to the emotions of my family, friends, partner, or children, because I haven't been tending to myself in that way, So I think that just minding your internal clock and compass in that way, because you'll get spoken to for damn sure. I think all humans have intuition, and with sex being one of the deepest experiences that we can have with one another, I think it's eternally tied to that. It's eternally tied to that subconscious, that intuitive being that's always, guiding you. And I think just making sure you mind that will keep you, I wouldn't say all the way, but very much so on track with your sexual rhythm and habits. Yeah. What you say, Mr. Alvin?
The only way there's ever too much sex in any relationship is if it becomes abusive. And that can be physically, that can be mentally, or anything. The only way there's ever too much of a thing is just when it becomes abusive, or you're taking advantage of the other party. Other than that, you're an adult. Luckily, we're getting to a place where people can be more expressive and they can discuss who they are and how they are more openly without worrying about being shunned for it.
Yeah.
And so if you're hypersexual, whatever that is, you've just created a playground for exploration in each one's body and being, physically as well as spiritually. And so it just has to be a discussion. Now, if it becomes an issue, then there's a breakdown in the communication between both parties, and that's a bigger issue than sex. Yeah. If you need it and the person can't supply it. See, I'm a pleaser and I'm a healer. And so from that space, I'm all about the exploration. I visualize there's this staircase or this ladder that rises into the heights of whatever pleasure is, and the destination is bliss. Where a person who they are physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually can come together, come out and play, and just be who they freely are. And so in connecting with another person, and it doesn't have to necessarily be physical all the time either. There are countless ways to reach orgasmic pleasure, and it does not need physical presence, a physical presence in order for it to happen. So it can be through a conversation, it can be through gentle touch, and just going into that free form, flowing space where you just elevate who you are into a pleasure space. When you go there, especially with other beings, you enter into your natural healing space. And so sex isn't always about sex. And so from that perspective, I search for pleasure. And then the question is always, do we go higher? Do we stay here? Or do we need to come down? And as long as both parties are willing to elevate through that whatever the exchange is, and pleasure comes, and the two of you connect and the vibration happens, you just keep climbing until you can't climb it. I've seen different levels of like, okay, this is a ride I need to get off of because now I'm losing control of myself. Pleasure, it's amazing, and not knowing how much more you can take. And so in being able to share that space with a person and then exploring one another, you not only learn so much more about them, but you learn about yourself as well. And so you just, as long as you're not abusive, even in your explanation of, hey, I'm a hypersexual person, I need more pleasure. And you can just come to an understanding of whatever that destination is for one another. Then it doesn't have to be an offer there. It doesn't have to be an off-ramp. Even if a person even if a male climaxes and can't get it back up, that still does not mean that either of you have to get off of that ride, and it has to end. And so there is no elevation. And again, let's say, and I'll end it with that. As long as it does not become abusive of either party, there is no end to that ride.
Someone asked if you could define when sex becomes abusive.
Aggression, unless you like that type of thing. If you like that type of thing, then that just adds to the quality. But when you blame a person because you can't attain pleasure, when you force place your ability to be pleased on another person, when you hurt a person's feelings because they weren't able to satisfy the picture of what physical pleasure was supposed to be with that person in your mind. So it just when you go on the attack of a person, like, you don't do this for me, you don't do this for me. When you break whatever the bond is between you people to go seek pleasure somewhere else without just simply saying, hey, let's discuss other options. You know, I don't look at it as if you can't go anywhere else. You're a grown person, you're going to make the decisions that you make, but you're playing with someone else's emotions at that point. So situations like that.
And Tammy, I would just like for you to tell us why you don't want to address the question.
I don't have an issue addressing. I just wanted to let them go first.
Okay.
Opportunity, but they both made really, really good points. Seven, I really like your perspective in terms of I try to just go with the flow in essence and just allow life to naturally happen. And Alvin, I also like your perspective in that, wow, we have to enjoy the experience while we're there. And it's really up to us how much or how little we want of this experience. And I will have to say that when it comes to me, I'm still exploring my ride. So due to just my learning style and my ability to connect with myself sexually, being able to communicate my sexual desires with people, being able to be open. And that's new for me, because I was taught that overly sexual women are whores. And so in a relationship, if I cheated, there was something that I wanted to experience and explore, and I didn't recognize that. I was taught that sexual activity outside of marriage was a sin. And so there's the guilt consciousness that kind of came along with that. So exploring sexuality is like, and please don't add masturbation to it. That's a whole nother beast within itself. And so as I start to continue to dive deep and realize that 80 to 90% of physical sex is imagination, I really make it what I want it to be based on my own inner desires, wants, needs at that particular time, space, energy. And the more I explore me, the more I get to know me, my touch, my sound, my vibration. It changes how I want to connect with other people. And I wouldn't say I was extra promiscuous as a young woman, but when I finally did break out of my shell to have sex, I was unexperienced. I was shamed. I was insecure. I was not committed to love or any of those things because I didn't have healthy examples of those things. And as a result, I was confused what sexual experiences were supposed to be like. So now in this realm of existence, I'm just taking my time. Taking my time to attract the person or people who want to explore me the same way I like to explore. And whether too much or too little, I don't want to label it, because sometimes I'm a rabbit. And sometimes I just want to chill and lay there and hold you and rub on you and see if you tingle when I touch you. Like if that connection is still there. And part of that comes from me knowing me. So I guess in a nutshell, I don't know what's too much. I really don't know if there's ever too much. But I can respect abuse, right? How many times have we been on that ride where we're so fixated on a person that we can't stop thinking about? That's not healthy. And I've been that person who's demeaned my partner because he couldn't keep it up. I'm like, and as you explore those aspects of self, then you start to realize how much you projected your needs and wants on someone else because you really don't know what you're doing. We don't have a manual. So I'm relearning how to connect to the most intimate parts of myself and am willing to wait for a partner that's wanting to take that ride with me. So she said a bit. That's that.
All right. Well, this has officially been the dopest conversation on the internet. I would like to thank each and every one of you for your time. Y'all gave me like an hour of time. I feel like I need to cash out everybody. But no, I really appreciate you all, your transparency, all the wisdom. I feel a lot better than what I felt when I first got on this call because I was scared to talk about it. So I appreciate y'all. And I love you all very much. And I mean, I know I already asked for closing words, but just again, if anybody had any parting words, y'all got space to do that. Otherwise, we're going to hop off of here.
Peace love to everybody. I'm grateful.
I hope y'all come back next week, please.
You hear me?
Y'all are great.
Thank you for having me.
Monday,
if I say anything in closing, just always understand that pleasure is no further than the distance of your breath.
Mm-hmm. I like that.
Indeed.
Yes.
Right? And that's factual, and that's important for me to remember. So I definitely appreciate that. We are here live every Monday, every Wednesday at 1:11. Please come back and join us, everybody that tuned in. We appreciate you. I think I waved at everybody, but I definitely appreciate you for tuning in. And Brother Alvin has committed to come back at some point, so you know what I'm saying. I definitely appreciate that. Eve, I'm grateful for your time. She stopped what she was doing to be here for me, so I'm super duper grateful. I am connected to the most amazing people in the world, but you know that's what happens when you're amazing. Yes, I would like to thank me. Yes, I would like to thank me. I don't want to forget to thank me, but and of course my regular co-host Devin. But we will be back next time. I'm going to go ahead and let y'all go because, like I said, it's been an hour. And I love each and every one of you. And we'll see you next time.
All right, y'all have a great one.
All right. See you tonight, Devin.